Thanks for joining the Home Matters Podcast with Eric and Gina Boggs, where they lead authentic, raw discussions about marriage, family life, kids, intimacy, and sex from a biblical perspective. Now here's your host, Eric and Gina Boggs.
Well, welcome back to Home Matters Podcast. We are glad you joined us
Yeah, we
today.
are. We're so glad you joined us. I know that wherever you are out there, we want to encourage to always share Home Matters because we believe home matters, right?
That's right. At your house, at everybody's house.
Yep.
Actually, what happens at somebody else's house matters too.
Mm-hmm. No, right. Yeah, always.
Affects society,
we're right in the middle of the dog days of summer.
Oh, my goodness. It is so hot in good old South Carolina.
Again, we're glad you're here. Hope you're in an air-conditioned space. Or if you're out walking in the heat, God bless you. Hope you hydrated well.
Find a shade tree.
If not, keep your phone handy. You're going to need 911. But again, we're glad you're here. And,
I look for the shade when we go walking.
Before you know it, it'll be September and things will be cooling down a little around here.
Wow. It's October before it cools down here. What?
We got a Marriage Matters getaway.
That's right. In September. Man, we would love for you to go with us. Charleston, South Carolina is where we're going to be. Still might be a little warm there, which is okay.
Well, it'll be warm here still because, again, I hunt. Even in October, you have some hot days.
That's right. So, go to homematters.family, get all the information you need. And I'll just throw this out there. If you'd like some information to share, some posters, cards, and stuff at your church, at your local church, you can contact us, email info@homematters.family.
Or we'll make it real easy. Phone number is 864-243-3697.
Yeah, you can get all the information you need.
864-243-3697. But
yeah, get signed up.
It'll probably be warm enough to still go out to the beach. But
yeah, anyway. It's a little bit smaller venue than the one we do in the winter. Yeah. So go ahead and get signed up. Bring some people with you.
Let's get to our subject today.
Okay, well,
we've been talking
continuing on
forever on this subject.
Well, not forever, but yeah, 3.
This is 4.
So, is this the 4th podcast?
Yep.
You sure?
Family forward.
Okay. Just moving, always moving forward.
Talking about your marriage, talking about parenting. Stuck. Yep. And today we're talking about moving forward in romance.
That's right.
Huge part. Our intro says where we lead raw, authentic discussions about marriage and parenting, kids, and intimacy and sex.
That's right. And as we said, it's easy to get stuck. Things happen. We talked about that just within marriage itself, talked about that in parenting, but making sure that we're always moving forward. We don't get stuck in these places. And man, romance, intimacy, that's an easy place, I think, for couples to get stuck and for it to just become, boring, routine, or maybe even non-existent. So what we're talking about today is moving forward in the intimate part of your life, in your romance, in your sex life.
Yeah, and we try to do this every so often because, again, we believe that the strength of your marriage many times it'll be determined by how your intimate life, how healthy your intimate life is.
That's right.
And as we get into this, we want to apply those 5 components. What'd you do?
I hit the microphone. My bad.
Those 5 components that we've been talking about.
That's right. Talking about information. In the right information, exposure.
Yep.
This is a big one. Attitude, having the right attitude that can always move us forward. Wow, that was awful. Forward.
I almost sound like you said something else.
But. Being persistent. That means just a determination that we are not going to stay here. God's always got more for us, so we push ahead. And then our expectations. Those were kind of the 5 things that we've looked at.
We covered those in detail in episode 54. If you want to go catch those, and, we expand on them a little bit there. But when it comes to those, we want to include that thought as we hit these different ideas for making sure that your romantic life, your intimate life, your sexual life, your sexual relationship as married couples.
That's right. If you hear us
continues to move
very much at all, whether at a getaway or in a different setting, we always say this, that intimate part of your life, the pursuit, making room for the romance, whether it's the flowers or the note or the text or, the phone, the late night phone call, whatever it is, that those things.
Hope it don't have to be a phone call. Unless
what you mean?
You said the late night phone call.
Mm-hmm.
If you're married, I hope it's not a phone call. That means you're apart. Is that what you meant?
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm talking about
What did you mean?
before you get married. All that stuff that's going on while you're dating. Yeah, He wasn't listening. I hope you're listening better than he was. It's all good, though.
I was listening. All right.
All those things that were happening before, what I'm trying to say, those don't stop. That they should continue after
there's
marriage.
My thought. There's my thought. So how do you do late night phone calls after you're married?
Okay, you got a point. My goodness.
Anyway, just making room. Unless I do get phone calls sometime late at night from you.
That's right. I mean, you're not
if I'm in the den and you're in the bedroom, you call me and say,
I call him and tell him to come to bed because he's sleeping in the recliner. But that's another episode. I'm just saying, there are times when we're separated. You're here, there, trip, whatever. But I'm just saying all those things.
The pursuit should remain.
The pursuit should always remain of the romantic side of our relationship.
Yep.
And, I think sometimes we just kind of get caught in thinking, oh, well, that's silly. I did that. We were just.
We call it in love after I do.
Yeah.
A lot of couples, they get married and then all the love, the romance, all that stuff
kind of becomes boring.
Exits their life, and it does become boring. And the thing is God has given this gift of marriage, right? And all you married couples out there, if you're going to be married one day, you need to realize that God created this part of your life, this romantic, intimate, sexual part of your life, only for marriage, and it should be something that begins to advance and begins to move forward.
That's right.
And we're just saying it's easy for that to become stale, boring.
And you have to make room for that. You have to plan for that. When I say make room, I just say make sure that that's something that we're attentive about. Eric and I use the word all the time, intentional. Make sure you are continually intentional about keeping that romantic part
and you're committed to that, right?
Of your marriage alive. Right. And that kind of flows into the next thing here, which is our attitude about sex and romance.
We said that was one of the big components, right? And when it comes to moving forward, in our romantic relationship, we've got to make sure that we have the right thought processes or mindset, ideas about. So again, when we talk about our attitude about sex and romance after marriage, I think the main thing is we realize what God's called it to be, right?
Yeah, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a pure thing. And but with that, again, I think that we carry the mindset so many times that sex is the ultimate, and sex is the climax of our romantic, intimate relationship, right? Pun intended as well. But again, it is the climax of our romantic relationship. But with that, it is not what we look at sometimes or what we've kind of been cultured into thinking about when we think about sex, because our world has made it something that's not pure, it's not sacred, and if we're not careful, we have an attitude about sex as if it's something that's dirty or unclean or ungodly even.
Yeah.
And
that can happen. And background or, things that have happened in our past as well can all feed into that. But in this marriage relationship, I don't think we can ever see this romantic part of our life as unnecessary.
Right.
And I think we can come to that place, you like we've said before, you got the catch now, you got her, you got him, whatever. And now it's unnecessary. Or we've had all the kids we want to have, it's now unnecessary. But the act of romance, the sexual relationship should be a place of reconnect, of bonding again, of strength to the marriage. We talk about that a lot. Something that's meant to be enjoyed, meant to be fun. And so that part of our
pleasurable
life, yes, that part of our life is necessary.
And again, the romantic part, the intimate relationship, holding hands, hugging, kissing, all that, everything that is a part of our intimate, of our knowing, our talk, our discussions, our again, the way we speak to each other, all of that is part of our intimate relationship.
That's right.
We believe that, that continually we're working on our intimate relationship. I'm still pursuing her. I'm still dating her. I'm still courting, that old word. I'm still, again, the thing is sometimes after we get married, we just get busy and we got all these responsibilities.
Yeah.
I tell couples, they say, we're going on a second honeymoon. There's no such thing. Because once you get involved in life together,
the busyness,
you won't have another second honeymoon. The honeymoon is kind of a place where before you, after you're married, before you get back to real life, you've got this
That's true.
rendezvous away from the real world. And, when you come back to that, the thing is after you do life together, then you got kids, you got bills, you got jobs, and all these things that are real. And it's not that you don't have those on the first one, but we're just saying that sometimes because we don't realize. Listen, our romantic, intimate relationship, we're to enjoy that time.
That's right.
We're to continue to enjoy it. It should be it should be pleasurable.
That's right.
Nothing wrong with that. And there are
not
people,
according to God's word, it's not. He said, enjoy the life of your youth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there are people that think that pleasure is something that it's almost as if people have been programmed to think that if there's, and this is, I would think, a small percentage, excuse me, small percentage of people, but there are people that think pleasure, that it's almost like there's a guilt that comes with that. But again, it's just so important that we have a right attitude.
Right attitude. That's right. What about this one, the exposure? When you talk about those first 5 components that we talked about, we have to make sure, I think in this romantic part of our relationship, that we're exposed to the right stuff, right? That we continually learn, we continually grow. We see the need for learning and growing. We understand that there's continual change in our life.
Learning from the right places.
From the right sources, right. From the right stuff. Resources.
Yeah, we address that a lot in our getaways because people, again, we're such a sexually charged society. Our culture, that there's so much out there that's been said. There's so much that's been thrown at us.
That's true.
And we can be exposed to things that are not like God.
Yes, you have to make sure.
Don't have anything to do with his plan. That's right. So that's the reason
from the right sources, resources.
That we're exposed to the right stuff.
Yeah. So in that exposure, it's good to explore. Exploration is not, again, we can be exploring in the wrong places, but as long as the parameters are there, we're within God's parameters, we're within his guidelines, then within that the boundaries that he has set for us, we can explore and gain knowledge of even ourselves and our spouse. What makes my spouse feel loved? How can I, romantically?
Yeah, and it's the little things that you learn about each other.
Yeah.
You're a book. You're a mystery.
Am I a mystery book?
Yeah, you're a book. You're a mystery to me. I'm still figuring you out. And again,
you should have it by now. I mean, we're like 3 decades in,
Yeah, but you're still figuring you out. But in that, a commitment from my own heart and mind that I'm committed to continue to learn. Yeah. How to love her and how to show her love and learn ways together that we can grow in our love relationship and our romance.
Is what moves the romantic relationship of a husband and wife forward. Yep. That's what we're talking about. Moving it forward continually. The things, the ways we feel loved or whatever. I mean, those can change through time.
And again, you said resources a minute ago. That it's an older book now, but again, just the simple thing. It might be a life-changing, marriage-changing thing to pick up the book 5 Love Languages.
Yeah, man.
And just find out,
a lot of you probably have read that before, but man, just renewing that, the resources that are out there. Podcasts like this one, Marriage Matters Getaway like this one. Okay. Yeah. And again, we say it all the time. It's not just us. There are wonderful resources out there outside the Boggs. Okay. But finding that place where you can be exposed to the information you need, to the knowledge you need. That's another part of these components where you can get exposed to those things to continually move your relationship forward, even into the 3rd decade of your marriage, right?
You're about to finish the 3rd decade, honey.
Well, 30, we got an anniversary coming up. That'll be 37 years.
Yep.
But we're still in the third decade, right?
Just a few days away.
Mm-hmm.
We're still in the third decade, but we're
That's
about
right.
to hit decade number 4. That is unbelievable.
It is. The fact that, we look so young.
What else helps move marriage? The romantic relationship, what else helps us move forward?
Well, we talked, one of those components that we've shared in the other podcast was persistence. Yeah. And we've said a little bit about that, I think, already today, but that we continually pursue, that we're persistent about the fact that we are going to move forward. We're not going to get stuck in these places. And again, that's in all parts of our life, right?
Yeah, and again, that thing of just sticking to something. Stick-to-itiveness.
We just made up that word, I think.
Yeah, but again, I think that we get kind of tired and burnt or spent or disappointed.
Yeah.
And it's easy
I think
for
there are times when you feel like you're the only one.
It's easy for us to just kind of let down and again get aggravated and frustrated and said, I've done this. But again, we just encourage you to always, Gina said earlier, that we're attentive, that we're intentional, but we're attentive to this part of our relationship.
Right.
And the Bible's very plain about it. Again, when it comes to making sure that we're attentive.
Are you about to go to 1 Corinthians 7?
Yeah, that we're making sure that we're attentive to each other and the needs that are there. They're legitimate. It's, I tell couples sometimes it's not wrong for a man to want to see his wife. Just that one little thing, And again, just saying, you know what, I'm not giving up on that. I'm going to continue to flirt. I'm going to continue to invite. I'm going to continue to nurture.
That's right.
Because again, the thing that you don't value will exit your life. And if you don't value this part of your life,
before it ceases to exist.
Yeah, it will exit your life. The romance is dead, and again, before you know it, you're living in two different worlds, and the bonding that's supposed to be there, the closeness is supposed to be there. You feel like you're closer to your fishing buddy than you are your wife, and boy, what a sad place. And,
that's right. Well, even in the marriage relationship, I think we can get to places, after we're, say, decades in, like you and I are, that it just becomes more of a friendship. And there's nothing wrong with the friendship. There's not a better friend to have on the face of the earth. But that's not all that my marriage relationship is supposed to be. There should be the persistence there to pursue the romantic part of the relationship as well.
I used to think them little old couples that sat close to each other in the car, used to all vehicles had a bench seat in the front so that she could slide right up under his arm. You remember those?
I do remember those.
And I remember older couples, and I think, wow, that's so silly. Come on.
So if we had a bench seat in the front, you'd want me to sit
beside
you?
I want you right up close to me. I've seen older couples than us doing that. So again, I'd still want that to happen. But again, it's just the fact that we tend to that intimate, romantic part of our. And
That's
again,
right.
1 Corinthians 7 says, you don't avoid that. You don't disregard that. You don't.
That's right.
We always say it this way: don't treat it like it's not valuable
or not important.
Yeah, make sure that you place a premium on this part of your life.
That's right. And then, lastly, just the expectations. And again, we kind of hit this for the romantic side of our relationship to continue to grow. There should always be that expectation out there that there's still more.
Yeah. If you're weak and it's just been kind of busy and kind of dead,
happens, right?
You should not settle for that.
That's right.
Ever, never,
That's
ever.
Right. Or if you have settled for that for the last year or 5 years or whatever. I mean, don't stay stuck in that place.
Right.
I mean, I remember teaching a series on who's going to be the hero. You know, in your relationship, you be the hero and say, all right, it's just kind of been dead and boring for a while.
Don't settle.
No, don't settle.
But again, that's such a subtle thing. It happens. And we get numb and we get kind of.
You just get busy. Life hits.
Always moving forward.
Yes.
Right.
We're just trying to get that point across.
This romantic relationship that you have with your wife.
In your marriage, in
husband.
Your family, even in your parenting. Man, go back, listen to this series, keep moving forward. Because here's the deal. God's resources have not been exhausted in your life.
That's right.
And if you're still on this planet, he's still got more for you.
So if it's stagnant, stale.
That's right. Light it up.
Wake up.
That's right. Come alive.
Hey, remember, go sign up, go register.
That's right. We would love to see you in
HomeMatters.family. Register for the Marriage Matters Getaway. We'd love to have you with us.
We'll have fun. It'll be a good time. Hey, everything at your home matters. Tune in with us next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.